to write. Let's write. Where do I write? Okay, I'm just trying to share um the number to call. Oops. Right. Okay. Hello, hello. I'm just trying to share, and please like as you're coming. I'm trying to share so that people will join us, please. Um, so, let's share. I'm coming, please. I'm coming. Can you say hello to me? Let me know who is there. Please. Just say hello to me. Let me know who is there. Oh, hello, hello, hello. We are 3 right now. I'm sharing, please. Forgive me, I'm sharing, please. Okay. Have you? Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to, today's special talk show. It's a very special one because the topic is a kind of a sober topic. It's a topic that many people don't talk about, but that's exactly the topic that we really need to give priority, because a lot of people are going through a lot of things, you know, as a result of loss, bereavement. You know, people really don't know how to cope. So it's something that we really need to talk about. So I want you to share it, share this, as you're joining, you can share it to anybody that you feel that the person will benefit from it. You never know. Maybe one thing somebody will say tonight might change somebody's life. Because people join gossip media, people join a lot of things just to entertain themselves. But I think that this particular topic is a topic that has to do with everybody. If you have not been, if you have not seen bereavement before, nobody is praying for it. But it's something, it's a route that everybody must go through. It doesn't matter, we cannot run away from it. So that's the exact reason why we should talk about it. So somebody who has gone through that route might say something that will help somebody in the future. Somebody who has been through it might say something that will help somebody who is going through it at the moment. So that's exactly why it is very important that we share this program to anybody that, you never know. Just click share and share it. And as you are joining, please click the thumb, like it, because when you click the like button, YouTube will be able to share it to other people that might be interested, and they will join and get one or two things from it. So that's exactly why I want you to share it. Yeah. I know that the advert the advert didn't come early, because naturally I do the advert a day before. But it's just because I didn't know that I will come live today. I did not know that I will come live today. Please, can you say hello to me? Can you type? If you look at it as you're watching live, you will see where it will tell you. It's gonna tell you that chat as so and so. You will see it. It will tell you that chat as your name. You will see it. So from that place, you will see where you can chat and then tell me hello. With that, I will know who is watching and who is not watching. But if you really don't want people to know that you are watching, or if you don't want to be known that you're watching, that's okay. It doesn't really matter. You get me? Okay, I can see right now. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. I want to welcome you. Sophia, welcome. Auntie Augusta, welcome. Ken Viz, welcome, Achebe, and welcome, Daniel. Thank you so very much, all of you, for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. So while we wait for other people to join us, I just want to, lay a background of what we're going to do today. Like I said earlier on, this program is not a very common program. It is a program that is termed like people don't want to talk about it because they don't want to upset somebody. People think that when they talk about loss, when they talk about bereavement, when they talk about, grief, that they might be kind of reminding people of something that they have forgotten already. Like somebody might have lost somebody, a loved one, a long time ago, and then when you're talking about it, people will think, oh, don't talk about it because you're gonna kind of bring back the grief or bring back the lost thought and so on. But I think that we really need to talk about it, because talking about it makes a lot of people feel better. It makes a lot of people feel better. So that's why I think that we really need to talk about it. So I want to kind of give my own definition of loss, you know, because when people think about loss, they just believe that loss is just when somebody die. When somebody dies, maybe when a relative of yours dies, or when your friend dies, or when your neighbor dies, or when your pet dies or something. There are loads of way to describe loss, because I sat down and I was thinking about what loss is. There are some people who suffer from from a cancer, and as a result of that, some part of their body is cut off. So that person, that part of the body is cut off, is in grief. The person is bereaved. The person has lost part of, if it's part of breast, the person has lost vital part of her body. And that's exactly a terrible loss. And let me tell you, people don't condole with such people because people don't think that they have lost something. People don't think that they have lost something. And those type of people, they keep dying in silence. They keep, mourning all by themselves. That's part of loss. And that's part of bereavement. Another thing that people don't know that is loss is like kind of, there are some people, I give you an example. A lady from either Kenya or Uganda committed suicide because the fiance who was supposed to marry her went and married somebody else. So she lost a relationship. And as a result of losing a relationship, she killed herself. But do you know that a lot of people who lost relationship, nobody empathize with them. Nobody sympathize with them. Nobody tell them, oh, sorry, I know what you're going through. People will just shake it off, well, you can see somebody else. But the reason why we have gathered today is that people deal with loss in different ways. People deal with bereavement in different ways. Some people are brave enough to come out of it. Some people are not brave. I won't even say they are not brave enough. That is their state of mind. They are not able to come out of it. So in this discussion, which I have slated the month of May, that is all the Thursdays in May, starting from today, I have slated it that we're going to use it to talk about loss, bereavement, and how to deal with people who are facing loss, people who are bereaved, how to deal with them, how to talk to them, what to say and what not to say. And the reason why I invited some people that I know that they might have gone through bereavement and so on is because the way they deal with their own, or the way they dealt with their own, might be different from the way other people deal with their own. And with them, kind of contributing and so on, it might help one person or the other to deal with their own. I know some people, I know a woman who lost her son. That woman did not fall from the staircase. She did not have an accident, but she is on a wheelchair as I talk to you right now. The grief made her to lose her ability to walk. It affected her spinal cord, but she didn't fall. That's one thing that, loss, bereavement, and so on can do. But other people are not feeling like that. I know some people who are bereaved, they just ended up in the mental home. And that's where they don't know anything else, but they just sit there. And most of them, for the rest of their lives, they will stay there because of loss. and because of bereavement. You know? So, but if we come together and talk about it and listen to each other and encourage each other and not judge each other, because maybe after 3 years of loss, this person is okay, is able to do other things, is able to move on with his or her life. But another person, 8 years, the person is still grieving. And then this person that was able to, come alive after 3 years will be saying, but my own is just 3 years. And look at me. Why are you still feeling like this? Your own is 8 years and you're still feeling like this. Just snap out of it, and then that is a very wrong thing to say. Because the way that person is made is not the way other people are made. So these are things that we really need to look at and then see how we can help each other to cope with it. So the number that you can call, because the reason why I brought this platform is not just for me to be talking. It's not just for me to be talking. It's for you, it's for your, like I call it 2 cents, like the Americans. It's for you to contribute. As you are contributing, other people are listening and they're hearing, they're picking what you are saying, and as a result of that, it might heal them and it might help them. So the number to call, when you call, you can, if you choose to, you can tell us whether you have been bereaved. You can tell us whether you have lost someone before. You can tell us, if you wish, you can tell us whom you lost. You can tell us how you coped with it or how you're coping with it. So as you are telling us how you're coping with it, maybe you're helping me. Maybe you're helping somebody else who, is listening as well. So, and again, you can as well tell us what people, maybe things that people said to you that help you, and things that people say to you that hurts you. So when you say it, people will now realize that this type of thing, that shouldn't say it to somebody who is bereaved, or this type of thing is something that they can say to somebody who is bereaved. Do you get me? So the number to call is +44 744 078 7281. I call it again. The number to call is +44 744 078 7281. So you can call and give us your own contribution. So while I am waiting for the call, you can as well let me know if you okay, let me welcome people again. Yes, I welcome you. Please, it's the people that are commented that I see them. If you don't comment, it's not a must that you comment, but if I don't call your name, please forgive me. But I can only know who is here by the comment. And again, last week, some people said that I didn't mention their name, but it's because they didn't comment. But this is how you comment. If you don't know how to comment, you will see where it says chat publicly as, your name will come out there. So once you click there where it says chat publicly as, then you should be able to write. And when you write, I will see it. So I want to welcome Sophia. I want to welcome Antogusta. I want to welcome Chebe Kemviz. I want to welcome Daniel. I want to welcome Rachel. I want to welcome Sheila. I want to welcome all of you. Thank you so much for answering this call. What you are doing is not in vain, because one or two things that you say might heal somebody. It might help somebody a lot, or maybe somebody who will still watch it later on. One word might heal that person. One word might help that person. So thank you so much for coming. So while I wait, for your call, so I want to tell you something that during the time that I was facing bereavement. By the way, today is 12th. And coincidentally, today happens to be the 4th year of the passing of my son. And the Thursday happens to be the day that I have program. I was like, I didn't want to have the program before because I wanted it to be kind of a sober reflection, a time that I would just kind of be on my own and reflect and so on. But on a second thought, I was like, it's why did it fall on Thursday? Why should this day be a Thursday? And then we have been discussing about other things before. So why don't we use it to discuss bereavement, discuss about grieving, discuss about loss? Why don't we use it to discuss about it? It's true that people don't want to talk about it. People just want to hold it inside them. But we really need to talk about it. Because when we talk about it, we feel better. That's why he said that a problem shared is a problem solved. So look at me, I'm no more grieving. And I really want to help somebody out there who is grieving. So one thing I want to tell people who will watch this, or who, people who are watching me and people who will watch this later on, certain things that you don't say to somebody who is grieving, somebody who lost somebody, something that you cannot tell that person. You don't tell that person. Anyway, your own is even better. Do you know the other person there? That person lost his second son, or her 2 children, or her 3 children, or his 4 children. Your own is just 1 person, but that person lost 2, or that person lost 3. Don't ever compare anybody's loss to somebody else's loss. This is why we have to talk about it. Do you get me? Don't compare people's loss and then thereby trivializing this person and telling him or her that his own is even smaller compared to somebody else. Don't say that. Don't say that. That person might be saying, okay, but that person is hurting because the person is seeing that you are not understanding the gravity of what he or she was going through or is going through. It's something that you shouldn't say. Honestly. So another thing that you shouldn't say again is, God has brought it and God has taken. Glory and blessed be the name of the Lord. I know that is a common thing that people say. People can only say, listen, these are mistakes that I have made in the past. And when it happened to me, I felt like beating myself. Why did I even say this to people before? Why did I even make such comments to people before? Because I didn't know how it was, because I have not felt it the way it was. So right now, the reason why I am here is to avoid that mistake, so that people who hear my voice will not make such mistake and then going to say it to some people. So that's another thing. So something else that will help whoever that is facing bereavement or loss, something that will help somebody again is listening ear. There are some mistakes that we make. Generality of us, everybody make that mistake. When you see somebody, because this thing is, we are living with it. So long as we are alive, there will be bereavement, there will be loss, we will face it every day. It's something that is inevitable. Just like people will be born, people will die, and we don't know when. So that's why it's good to kind of prepare. You see? So, something else that people need to do is, somebody who is facing bereavement, is facing loss or tragedy, what you need to do for that person is to give the person listening ear. If the person want to talk, please, even if it's taking the person 1 hour to talk, allow that person to talk. Let that person talk. All the person needs is your ear. Just lend that person your listening ear. Then if she or he asks you something, then you can reply. You can reply when your body language, her body language or his body language or the atmosphere will tell you whether the person wants you to talk or not. There are certain things that you better, silence is better, is golden. Because there are some people that will come to somebody who is bereaved. You won't even know that they will talk. Yeah, that is, they will talk for hours. This person that needs to, to kind of voice out the volcanic thing that is inside him or her that needs to come out. Because when the person voices it out, it relieves and releases tension. Then the person who came to condole with him or her will take all the talking and say everything. And at the end of the day, you came to help somebody who is grieving, then you achieve nothing. You go home and the person is just worse than before. So I'm still expecting the call. The reason why I am talking is just, for me to be talking until calls start coming in. Please, have you faced loss before? Have you lost somebody before? If so, how did you cope? How did you cope losing a loved one? How did you cope losing a loved one? What did you do to cope? Are you still hurting? So people want to hear what you did, to cope. Then, while I am waiting for you to talk, for you to call and talk. Okay, let me see. Yeah, just want to see if there are, more people. So as you're coming, I can see 9 people. Please, we need to have 9 likes. We need to have 9 likes. Yeah. So if you join, okay, so yes, you see we have 9 likes already. Very good. Thank you so much. So that other people will get notification and they will join us. Yeah. So another thing I want to talk to you about is I want to tell you about myself, how I coped. Because what we are doing is to help each other. If you want to call, you are free to tell us if you lost somebody or if you know somebody who lost and so on, how you cope. If you don't want to mention name, that's okay. But I just want to let you know that what you are doing is helping somebody else. And what I am doing today is to help somebody. That's exactly, what I am doing. Yeah. So what happened? How did I cope? Actually, for people who will watch later on, or people who don't know me, or people who will, later on, watch this, and then see. So we're talking about loss of loved ones. So I will say that in the year, in the year 2018, 12th of May to be precise. 12th of May to be precise. That is 4 years today. By this time, I was I was thinking that I was dreaming. I thought that it was a dream. I thought that I was dreaming because that was the day I lost, you know, I lost one of my children, my son. You get me? So I continued to feel that it was a dream on throughout the day. But what helped me to cope that, from that day was because of the way the death occurred, because he wasn't sick. I started thinking about everybody around me. I started thinking about, you know, my other children. I started thinking about
Incoming call.
okay. Hello, welcome to the program. Your name, please, where you're calling from, and then your 2 cents. Yeah, hold on. Let me connect you, please. Thank you. Hold on. I just connect you. Uh, okay. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, this is actually channel is Cannabis Production.
Oh,
But of course I'm not here to promote myself, but
thank you. Welcome. Welcome.
first of
Thank you
all,
for ringing.
first of all, thank you so much for tell me about the stream. So I think this topic is something that is needs to be talked about. So
Thank
I would
you.
also like to share my experience with loss and how I was able to cope with it.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead.
Um, Riz, I can't hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
No,
Can you hear me
you
now?
sound very far away.
Really? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
what? Be talking because people will be hearing you. You don't unless you're supposed to hear me through the phone, but people will be hearing you. Don't worry about
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, all right then. Go ahead, please.
All right. So yeah, see, so one thing like because one thing is that because I've lost a sibling about over 20 years ago. She was my younger sister. We were just a year apart. She was suffering from leukemia, like and pretty much throughout most of her life. And I was there like when she was getting the treatments and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while for a little while she was better. It was in remission. She was doing good. Like everything was good and stuff. And then probably like about a year, probably about a year or two later, like it came like the leukemia came back, and from then on, she went back to the treatment, and then it started to get worse.
Yeah.
So me being me being of course 9 years old at the time, I could I wasn't understanding the severity too much of it all,
Mm-hmm.
because pretty much around around when the last time I saw her, she was basically what I believe was life support. So it was the first time I knew I've seen her in that state, not even talking and unresponsive. So when she passed, it was just it was like those other shock when when I heard about it, when I was told that she was gone.
Oh my
And
God.
because like I said, because it was something that I did, I really at first didn't completely understand, because me me being older than her by a year, and also her being so young at that age, I can understand just the kids losing their life. And
Yes.
then and then didn't really. It's like and then it didn't really hit me. Like it didn't hit me like probably like maybe like about probably like a couple minutes or like hours later after hearing about the news. Like she was like really gone and stuff. And for a while, I've had like for like a while, like throughout probably like a year, I was having nightmares seeing her in my dreams and stuff.
Oh
You
dear.
know, I wasn't really sure what's happening, and even I was kind of scared if kids could get like go out like this at this young age you know like when it happened to me I was like so terrified, you know. And like after so then like after probably maybe so about a year I guess talking pretty much just talking to my mom and stuff and like anybody else who will listen like that helped me over time. It just told me just to think about like all the good things all the good things good times that that I share with her. And also you know basically don't forget her if you don't forget her you remember the good times you have like all the time you share those good memories that it helps with it. And the thing is that what I would say is that when is that when even if you are getting over a loss,
Mm-hmm.
you in a way you still in a way still think you still can't really get over it because it's still like has to still there's a little bit of that surrealism in there that
Yes.
it still doesn't make sense. But just keeping that person's memory alive
Mm-hmm.
like so it really helps. And just talking with people and also not harboring in your emotions,
Mm-hmm.
just saying or expressing how you truly feel, that also helps. The one thing I really dislike anytime if I'm something lost, like if I'm in tears, am I crying? The one thing I really dislike, because I don't want to say hate because that's too a strong word. One thing I dislike is someone tell you, "Oh, don't cry, be a man, be strong." I've
Thank
always
you.
disliked that because
Exactly.
it makes it feel like just because you're male, especially being especially like for Nigerian males and stuff, it's like you can't express emotions because like men are supposed to cry. I mean, because cause that's unhealthy thinking. That's something that should be done away. Of course, you got to be there for for each other, but people hurt in many ways. Shouldn't be
Yes.
told how you should react. Simple,
Yes.
you know.
Thank you so very much. You
So
see, that's why I want us to come and discuss this. This month of May, we're dedicating it for this topic, and then with time we will be talking about it. And we really need to invite people. Have you seen now this thing you've been harboring it inside you? Telling you be a man. Be a man, which means if you're a man, you don't have emotion. You see, and you still having it in your mind. It's really, really bad. So, we really need this. One of the things you don't tell people who are grieving that be a man has tears, a man has heart as well. So go on, my dear, and
right,
conclude. Go on.
yeah. So yeah, like I said, cause yeah, that was one of the things that had really stuck with me since pretty much like actually it didn't because it didn't occur to me until like after after losing my grandmother and stuff. Because when went to the viewing, I was told about by somebody there when I was crying because because like that's just me. I didn't say anything at that time,
Yeah.
but it just stuck with me, for a while. It was like this is not like an appropriate response. The fact that it was a woman telling me that, it just it just just took me aback. So
Oh, oh,
yeah,
yeah. It's so,
I just
yeah,
want to be able to end that statement.
yeah, yeah. Okay, my dear, thank you so much for your contribution. And I just hope that we will help each other And then I want you to stay around as well because other people will be sharing their own. But what I understood from
Oh,
what you
definitely.
said,
I'm still, yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna stay around. Definitely.
yes, thank you so much. And I will just conclude. Thank you so much for ringing. So what I understood from what Kenvis production just said is he lost, his younger sister. They are a year apart, because he has this very strong American accent, and I even struggled to pick things up, but although I understood what he said, but I just summarized that what he said. He lost his younger sister. They are a year apart. He was quite younger then. The sister was sick, and then after being sick for a while, the sister just died. And this guy, I know him very well. He did not recover from the death of the sister. This person who called is actually my nephew. He never recovered. The death of that sister, to me, is still fresh in this guy. It is still fresh. But this has been a while ago. You get me? So that's why I say that we need to talk about this. Look at what he said. People were telling him that, look, you be a man. You don't have to cry. Be a man. And this thing has been inside him for a long time. You didn't say guy born in America. It's like, does it mean that Nigerian men don't cry when somebody dies? So that's something not to tell people when somebody is bereaved. We really need to allow people to pour out their emotion. Men also cry because men are human beings. So thank you so much for your contribution. For people who are just joining, yes, oh hello, Mrs. Oyudo, welcome, welcome, welcome. So what we are talking about is we're talking about how to deal with bereavement, loss, and so on. So we just explained a lot of things that a lot of mistakes people make when they go to condole with people who lost their loved ones. Some people will say, oh, your own is small. Oh, the other person lost two of his children in motor accident. Your own is just one. Your own is so what not to say to somebody who is bereaved? Now, this caller just mentioned that people were telling him, be a man, you don't have to, cry because, this and that. So this guy is like, does it mean that a man doesn't have emotion? Does it mean that a man does not have pains? So we are calling, if you have lost somebody, if you know somebody who lost loved ones and so on, how did you deal with it? Maybe the way you dealt with it will help somebody. This guy who called said that the way he is dealing with his own is that he is keeping his sister afresh in his mind, in his, in his memory. That's where his sister lives, in his memory. You get me? So he is moving on, but his sister is consistently in his memory. So please, the number to call.
Incoming call.
Hello, welcome to the program. Your name, where you're calling from, and your 2 cents.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Daniel,
Hello,
calling
welcome,
from
Daniel.
Ipswich, United Kingdom.
Hello,
And
welcome.
yeah, I'm also calling to talk about the bereavement that I've suffered as well recently, not too recently.
Yes.
But before I even go into that, I'd like to just second what Tebe has just spoken about, which is about the way men specifically found people who are bereaved, particularly African men. I think it's really, really appalling.
Exactly.
Apart from the fact that, they say things like, be a man, be strong for your family, be strong for your, mother, wife, whoever it be, strong for them, That means you shouldn't deal with the loss yourself. The other aspect is that some men, when they hear that you're bereaved, they don't even say a thing to you. They don't say anything.
Can you imagine?
Which is even worse. Almost like there's no sensitivity at all. Such people. Just assume that if you say you lost someone, oh, okay, well, part of life.
Oh,
Almost like, you should be ready for such things. So, to men, when you meet someone who is bereaved, say something that will give them some sort of comfort. Simple as saying, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your loss. I couldn't imagine how it feels.
exactly.
Something very simple like that can go a long way.
Exactly.
A lot of African men out there, very sensitive. That's the first aspect I'm gonna about. Then the loss itself is the loss of my younger and only brother. This was again roughly 4 years ago till today.
Yeah.
Was very sudden. Spoke to him on the day. He passed. Never expected it to happen that way. Everything was looking up. He was supposed to start a new job the Monday following that particular incident, and it was just a total nightmare. My life became a total nightmare from that point. It was the worst day of my life. Hearing that news. That's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is what I did.
Yes.
To be able to move forward.
Good.
Just from a male's perspective. First thing I did was that I tried to separate the me who is suffering a bereavement from the me who is supposed to help, support the family. I have to separate two people. So the part of me that helps support the family was the part that operated when I was around people. When I'm around my mom, my wife, my sister-in-law, and everyone else have suffered this bereavement. The me who is around them is different from the me that I am when I'm alone. That's probably the time that I really, really try to deal with myself. When I'm alone, when I'm sleeping, and that's when I tend to have a lot of, like Atebe said, a lot of dreams about my brother. I see him, even till today, sometimes I see him in the dream as well. It only happens when I'm still trying to deal with it on my own. But like I said, I have to separate myself into two separate people. One person who has the responsibility, another person who has the right to grieve their brother in peace, and anyone interfering.
Yes.
That's one aspect. The second aspect is as much time as you can to get over the loss. You need to cry, whether you're a man or a woman. Don't listen to all this garbage about men don't cry. Men do cry.
Yes.
In fact, it helps.
Mm-hmm.
You need to cry, either way in one place, cry and ask questions and get angry and break things.
Mm-hmm.
No? Question. They say don't question God. Who says you can question God?
Exactly.
Something happens and you don't understand it. God is your father.
Mm-hmm.
You have answers for you. You question God.
Yes.
Or why did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
Give me an understanding of why this happened. Is there a bigger picture? Question God. Question God respectfully. If you're a Christian, that is. That's the second aspect. Then the third aspect is just try your best to carry on as normal. You work, try your best to carry on working. Whatever it is you do, try your best to carry on doing that thing. It will help take your mind away. One of the worst things you can do is to, from my perspective, obviously everyone is different.
Yes.
For you to find yourself idle, if you find yourself idle, you'll be in a position where all you do is think about this loss. And that can cripple you mentally and even physically. You could get sick from that.
Yeah.
Even if you're not working a job, if working a job stresses you out, look for something else. Engage in activity, but make sure that you're busy most of the day so that it takes your mind away. As time goes on, you get better at it, you get stronger.
Yeah.
So that's the other aspect.
Yeah.
And try your best to also have memories of the person once in a while that you remember. Because again, when you try to move on from someone's death, there's also the possibility that you start to forget the person entirely.
Yes.
This is a family member and a loved one, so you don't want to forget that. So you want to preserve a memory of them. It could be a picture you had, maybe when you played football together the last time. It could be, some sort of video of something that you did that was really funny, or a quote or something that a message is sent to you. But once in a while, go and look at those things and smile and kind of remind yourself that actually, I once did have a brother who, this kind of very cheeky person and all of that stuff. It can be a little bit comforting as time goes on when it's not so painful.
Yeah.
So, and then finally, this one is probably down to religious leaders. A lot of religious leaders don't have answers to the questions that people have when they suffer bereavement. You go to a pastor, the pastor will tell you, God knows best.
Yes.
Don't worry, he's in heaven or she's in heaven. All of that stuff. Whereas they don't have any biblical proof. They don't have anything, can really be concrete enough. Because, when something happens to you, you want answers. You don't want speculation anymore. Don't want to go to Matthew chapter this and that anymore. You want to hear proof.
And if they don't know, they can be bold enough to say, if they don't know, they should be bold enough to say they don't know.
They're telling you, go to Matthew chapter 5. Come on, man. No? So that is something that if religious leaders can spend a little bit more time and understand the human cycle and understand what happens to the human soul when they die, all these things, go more into the Jewish, scriptures and understand really what happens from a Christian perspective. If that's and that will really help support people. And then with their experience as well added to that, that will be a match in helping people heal because they will have a bit of comfort of where their loved one is.
Yes.
So that will be all I have to contribute for this for now. Sorry, before it starts to make noise here.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. I really, really appreciate. And I don't know where all of you, that's my son anyway. I don't know where you guys get the strength to be able to be bold. The other one who called is my nephew. The one that called now is my son. I don't really know where they get the strength to be able to stand. Sometimes I want to borrow their strength, honestly. So I want to encourage you guys. Just keep it up. Be strong. And one thing I want to say is that you guys have said it all. If you feel like crying, you really need to cry. Because you're made of flesh and blood. Whether you're a man or a woman, you feel emotion. You lost something. You lost someone. And as a result of that, you should show, emotions that you have lost somebody. And I'm really, really sorry for your loss. Both of you, Achebe, and then, Achebe talked about his grandma as well. I'm sorry about that, and then Daniel, I'm sorry about your loss as well. And, what you have said will help somebody. Somebody might hear it. You have just said that how you coped with your own. You kept yourself busy. You separated yourself, yourself who is grieving and yourself who is a family person who is supposed to support your mom, support your wife, support your sister-in-law, support everybody that is around you and so on. So then, that's a really good one. That's very, very good one. And I believe that people are learning. Another thing, which is very important thing that you raised, Daniel, was where you talked about religious leaders. And to be honest with you, I know that this channel is still a small channel, but it's gonna grow. But I just want to address religious leaders all across the board. For somebody who is grieving, for somebody who lost a dearly beloved one, and then you come and tell the person, do not cry like people who don't have faith. Do not cry like people who don't have faith. Your son sleeps, your brother sleeps, and so on and so forth. You are saying it because it hasn't happened to you. If it happened to you, actually, you're not going to say that. Because I have an example of, a friend told me about a reverend father, who always, all the time, when people are bereaved, the father would tell them, God has brought it, God has taken, glory be to the name of the Lord. Do not grieve like people who don't have faith and so on. And at the end of the day, this father lost his mother. And the father was crying, carry himself and throw on the floor and cry, carry himself. And the parishioners, people were telling him, but father, why are you crying like this? God has brought, they bent it. Because that was what he says to them. And that was how he tried to kind of put them, under control. And then, people were telling him, why are you crying like this? Why are you, mourning like this? And the father was like, please, you people should stop talking to me. This one is my mother. This one who died is my mother. This is my mother. You people don't know what I'm talking about. And as a result of that, the bishop had to take him to another parish because people felt offended. People were like, oh, so your mother is your mother, but other people's mother, they are log of wood. They are not human beings. So for religious leaders, we really need to be empathic. We really need to be human first before we become religious leaders. People who lost loved ones, if you don't know what to say, just tell the person, I really don't know how you feel, but I'm really, really sorry for what you feel. I really know, that God will tell us one day why people die. To be honest, I'm not able to explain to you why this thing happened. I don't know how to explain it to you. And I don't really know how you feel. I'm very, very sorry for your loss. I think that would be better than telling the person, hold yourself, this and that. God brought, God has taken. Why should God bring somebody who is young and take that person as young as the person? Somebody who hasn't done anything. Somebody who is still in secondary school. Somebody who is still in primary school. Somebody who, is in university. Somebody who hasn't done anything. Why did God create the person then if God wants to take that person away? So what I'm saying in effect, I'm not saying that what you guys are preaching is wrong, but it doesn't make sense to people who have just lost somebody. So let us use another, strategy that is more humane, that is more subtle, that is more loving for people who lost their loved ones. Let us not do our job like medical doctors who see everybody as, specimen. I'm not saying negative things about medical doctors. After all, it's your job. That's why some of them cannot treat their mother. They cannot treat their wife. They cannot, because then they are seeing a human being. But other people, they are seeing a patient. Have you seen, what I mean? So please, reverence, bishops, religious leaders, we really need to kind of be humane whenever we are talking to people who lost their loved ones. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are still waiting for other people to call and contribute. Have you lost a loved one? There is no way that everybody here that is listening to me now will say that you have not lost a loved one. There is no way. Even a friend, is somebody. You get me? So, and while I am waiting for somebody to call, I just want to share how I coped with mine. I tell you, people are saying, oh, she is too strong. Hey, she is too strong. Blah, blah, blah. That is what people are seeing you outside and they say you're too strong. Those people are not with you in the house. The only time that a bereaved person, the reality starts staring you in the face is when everybody goes and you're alone. Because when things happen like that, people will rush to you, people will come to talk to you, people will come to kind of condole, people will come to cry with you, people will come to do everything. Even some people will be bringing food and so on and so forth. You still have people to talk to. You still have people to chat with. But later on, maybe after a week or 2 weeks, and maybe the burial has taken place and everything, and people go back to their own house, that is when reality starts knocking on the door. That is exactly when you have braved everything. Because myself, the reason why people think that I am strong, to be honest, I'm not the way they thought. Because when my son passed, it was so sudden, because he wasn't sick, that my mom wasn't well. My siblings, all of them, my own son that is left, my daughter-in-law that I don't know how to talk to her, everybody around me. Do you know what I did? I decided to fake strength. I decided to fake to them that I am strong. Because if I don't do that, a lot of people will die on my hand. A lot of people will die on my hand. Chief among them is my mom, my daughter-in-law, my son. I don't really even know how to cope. I don't know how he would cope. I was just imagining. So what did I do? Like he said, I became two people. So first of all, when I wanted to call my mom, please, the phone number to call, let me call it again. So in case I am talking because nobody has called, that's why I'm talking. So the phone number to call is, where is that number, sir? The phone number to call is +44 744 078. No, sorry, +44. What am I calling, please? You people should forgive me, oh. Where is the number? Oh, I don't know the number offhand. Okay, I got it now. So the number to call is +44 744 078 7281. +44 744 078 7281. I wrote it in the comment section as well. So in case, so you can call and tell us, or even talk to people who have, been bereaved, who have lost loved ones. You can call and then give them one or two advice and so on. So like I was saying, so when I lost, my son, I had to talk to my mom. Because of, I don't want to go into details how this and that, but I just need to talk to my mother. So I went, and then after having my shower, I put on makeup. I put on makeup and everything. Then I called my mom on video call. And I was like, Mom, I was laughing. My mom said, no, this is not my daughter. How can she be laughing? I said, Mom, yes, it's me. I'm laughing. I'm a strong Christian. I'm really, really strong Christian. That, look, what happened, God allowed it to happen. And she was like, do you really mean it? I said, yes, I meant, yeah, of course. My mom said, are you sure? Because what she was waiting for was my breakdown. She was waiting for me to break down so that she would just close her eyes and leave. Because she wasn't well too. So when I did that, she was like, okay, though she continued crying, but that kind of helped. And I called my big sisters. I called all of them, as I made up and so on video call. I was like, look at me. You people should look at me. I am strong. Can you see me? I am strong. So you people should just brace up. My son doesn't want anybody to start crying. You people know that he's a very strong believer and so on. So that was what I did in order to get everybody under control. Otherwise, if I don't do that, I don't know how many people will end up in the hospital, how many people will end up having stroke, how many people, because they will be thinking, what am I going to do? They will be thinking about me, that I will not be able to cope, that I will not, going by what I went through in life, going by everything that happened. It's just like you prepared a cake, you did all your cake, did everything, did all the icing, everything, and then as you are taking this cake to present it to people for the wedding and so on, the cake just fell and smashed. That was exactly how, how the death of my son is or was,
Incoming call.
Okay, we have a caller coming. Hello, good evening, welcome, and your name and your 2 cents.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Sophia. I'm calling from Lagos, Nigeria.
Welcome,
Can you hear
Margaret.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead with your contribution. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make a contribution. But first of all, let me thank you for this program. It's really amazing, and I've really learned a lot from it. Because actually, I've suffered from a loss, and while I was suffering from that loss at the beginning, I was actually looking for something like this. I went to the internet, as in I checked so much so I can see how people who suffered from a particular loss, how they came out of it, because I was just desperate to know how they could come out from such dark period. And then, but first of all, the first thing I would like to share is what we shouldn't tell someone that is mourning or that is suffering from a loss, because it's what I experienced and I didn't really feel happy about it. And the first thing is someone telling you, I know how you feel.
Okay.
You know, when someone tells me that, I'm like, in my mind, you really don't know how I feel. You might imagine, but you don't know how I feel. So I don't feel it's right you telling someone that is mourning or going through a particular loss, telling the person you know how he or she feels, because you do not know how that person actually feels. You can only imagine what that person is going through, but actually you don't know how that person feels.
Exactly.
And hello?
Yes, go on.
Okay. And another point I would like to raise, because in Nigeria here, there's a lot of religious talk and all that. Because during that period, some people said things like, whether were you not praying enough? Were you not praying enough? And then I'm like, no, if I was not praying, what was I doing? Was I sleeping or was I laughing? And that thing really hurt me, because they really said it with so much that maybe in their own thinking, if I was praying, maybe I wasn't spiritual enough, that was why what actually happened. And I'm like, wow, take a chill pill. As in, I'm going through this and you're telling me I wasn't spiritual enough, I wasn't praying enough. That was why this particular thing happened. And instead of that to console me, it actually hurt me the more. And another thing I think that shouldn't be said is when you come to see someone bereaved, and then you start telling the person how that thing happened to this family, how in fact your own, as in the person lost 5 children at the same time. This family, this just bring negative energy. It shouldn't happen. Maybe because you are thinking you are trying to control the person, and then you are telling the person how this thing happened to this one happened to this one, this one happened to this one. It's not actually making the person feel better. It's actually making the person feel worse. And how did I overcome this loss, or how did I begin to get over it? It's actually a thing of the mind. It starts from the mind. And then I could remember that day when, at first, I couldn't accept the loss. I didn't accept what happened. But there was a day.
Sorry, if I may ask,
I took that decision.
If I may ask, whom did you didn't tell us whom you lost?
Oh, okay. I lost my husband.
Oh dear.
Okay. And then, because it was too bitter a pill to swallow, I couldn't take it. But I remember the day that I actually took the decision to accept what happened. So it was a sin of the mind. I made up my mind to accept what happened. It was actually a battlefield of the mind. So when I actually won that battle in the mind by telling myself, okay, it has actually happened. And then when I made that decision, that was when I came to terms with what actually happened. And then I started reading stories of how there were some other stories I now saw, and started reading of how people like that went through a particular thing, not necessarily death, but overcame some sexual molestation, but how they just overcame a particular tragedy that happened to them. And then I actually became closer to God, and when I became closer to God, it actually made the healing faster and better. So that's my contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my dear. God bless you. Thank you so much. So, my dear, have you seen this right now? A lot of people are very happy about this program. And you can imagine we haven't advertised this program. People have not really known that we are doing such a thing. And you can see how happy people are that we are talking about it. So, I think that, our platform is going places, and I want you to tell one or two people next Thursday, we're still going to continue. Have you seen right now? This lady just said, by the way, that's my daughter-in-law. This lady just said that things that people do tell you that you really don't want to hear, because I said one or two things, but she made mention of one strong point right now, and I think she nailed it. Do you know what it is? She said that people were asking her, did you pray? You didn't pray enough. You didn't pray enough. If you had been praying enough, what happened to you wouldn't have happened to you. Can you be that? Can you imagine coming to tell somebody that, she is less a Christian, she is less a religious person, she has not done enough. And because she has not done enough, that was why she suffered loss. I can assure you that many people who ask her that question right now, one or two people among them would have suffered one loss or the other. Just for them to know that, it is not how much you pray. It is not how much you pray. The Bible said that it's not him who willeth or runneth, but it's him whom the Lord showeth mercy. It's whom the Lord showeth. There are certain ones that you have the opportunity to pray, and you pray and God answers, and that's it. But there are some of them that even if you pray from here till tomorrow, it will still happen. So please, very, very strong point. Very, very strong point. Do not tell anybody who is bereaved or somebody who has lost somebody that you did not pray enough. Or did you pray? Or did you do midnight? Or did you do this and do that? I think that's the worst thing that you can ever say to anybody who is suffering from loss. And another thing that she said, which is very, very important, is, I know how you feel. I know that people who are saying it, they really meant what they are saying, because I have said it to somebody before. But because I am talking as somebody who has experienced it, that's why I am telling you, so that you will understand it. I know how you feel. No way. Even as I am, that I have lost somebody, and then maybe somebody else lost the daughter or son or whatever. If I go there, I should not tell that person, I know how you feel. Because her own or his own is still fresh. His or her own is still very fresh. I have felt that way before, but she is the one or he is the one feeling it at that moment. And that moment, it is very, very still painful. You can say, I can imagine what you are going through. I can imagine what you're going through. Even if you have gone through that before, she might be going through worse than you. So that's another thing that we really need to avoid. The choice of word that we really need to avoid. Very, very important. So I'm still waiting for somebody to call, but I will just, be talking while I wait for somebody to call. I want to digress, a bit. Because when I talk about my own loss, I lost my son within a short period of time. I lost my mom. As it is, I still tell people that I don't even feel that my mom is no more, because I didn't get the time to mourn for my mom. I didn't get the time to, because I was engulfed with my son's, departure, when my mom died, I don't know how to feel. So sometimes I will take the phone to call her, and then I will remember that she's not there. So it hasn't really dawned on me very well that my mom is no longer there, because it was kind of a double tragedy, that time. You get me? So then another loss that people don't think about is like the one that you don't see. Some people who have I don't know what they call it in a medical term. Some people that have problem, like women have problem with their womb and so on, and they are not able to, and they have to remove their womb or cut off their womb. That's a big loss. That's a bereavement. That's a terrible bereavement. And that one is kind of a hidden one that nobody will even come to tell them sorry. Nobody will even come to kind of, to sympathize with them. And they are dying inside. Who will they talk to? So if you're somebody like that, I say sorry. And then I can say as well that you are bereaved too. That people should see somebody like that as somebody who is bereaved. Somebody who has part of the body amputated, is bereaved too, because it's part of the person's body that is lost. And are you there? You lost your relationship. Because somebody who is lost the husband, lost relationship too. So it's kind of double thing. So we just kind of want to say that we want to recognize those people, that they are part of people who are grieving or who have suffered loss. And people don't realize that. But I want people who will watch this, and people, who will watch later on, to really realize that people who lost part of their body, that they are bereaved as well, and they are grieving too. You get me? Yeah. So then people are asking questions. I'm waiting for call. Somebody who can ask question. You can call and ask question, even if you haven't lost a very close relative and so on. You can call and ask question. If I do this, or I do say this, is it right? I do say this, is it right? Or some people do say something like this to somebody who is bereaved. Is it right to say that, and so on? You can ask, because like this lady who called last said that when she suffered loss, she was going online. I did it too. I was going to YouTube. I was typing and then looking for a program where people will talk about loss, how they dealt with their loss, how this. I was looking for it. She said that she's looking for it as well, but I couldn't find any. And she said she couldn't find any as well. Oh. Okay, please hold on. Let me connect you, because you called the other number. Let me connect you. Please hold on. Okay. This one is not connecting to the microphone. So I listen. I tell you the number to call, please, because this one is not connecting to the microphone and people will not hear you. Let me tell you the number to call. You can stay while I tell you the number to call, so that you will cut off by yourself and call that number, please. Just stay on the line and I'll tell you. Oh, please. The number that you will call. Are you listening to me? Yeah. The number to call is +44 744 078 078 7281. I will call it again. +44 744 078 7281. Please. Okay. Okay. Yes, so right. So while we wait for the caller, to call, we just continue. Let me even read let me read Uju, you're here. I want you to call. Oh, I want you to call. Uju is saying, thanks so much, Daniel, for sharing. It is really drive home. Okay, so Josie said, bereavement and grief are so huge. How you manage it tells a lot on our healing or recovery process, or may lead to consequences we may not be able to cope with. Johnson said, hello, Evergreen. Yes, this is a great topic as it concerns everyone still living on earth. We need to address the issue of death and how we deal with it when it happens. Well done. And Josie said, total hysterectomy.
Incoming
Removal.
call.
I can't call it. Hysterectomy. Okay. Please, can you turn down the place you're watching me from and just listen to me? You know. Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
I don't know if my voice is clear.
It's clear now. It's
I
clear
can barely hear you.
Go on. I can hear you. It's clear now. It's very clear.
Oh my gosh.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh my gosh. Oh, please, pardon me. Have you started crying before I can talk?
Don't worry. Go ahead. That's why this program is.
Call, you know?
No, go on, cry.
I just have to.
Go on, cry. It's okay.
Support by adding my voice.
It's okay. Go on.
Love of Satan.
It's okay. Go on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Uju. I'm calling from South London. Oh.
Don't worry.
I hate myself for this. Oh. Okay. I suffered a horrible series of bereavement. I lost 6 members of my family in a very short period of time. Oh my God.
Don't worry, you're a human being. That's why. Stop holding yourself. That's what we are talking about. You're a human being. Go ahead. You can cry. Go ahead.
I don't want to. I want to be strong so people can hear me. I mean, crying. I've cried enough for years. But every time at the important moment, period, I should be strong for other people.
Don't worry. Go ahead.
I myself let me down. I let myself down. But I'm trying really to get it together, and I will.
You will.
Amongst other, my twin brother, my oldest brother, who really was like a father to me, who saw me through life. My dad, my mom, my oldest sister. But the biggest was my son, my first son, my womb opener, who really, he died when he was 13 years old, a child. What sin can a child, I mean, what does he even know?
Exactly.
And I have 5 children. 5 boys, and he was the oldest. The youngest then was 6 years old. And I must say this before I forget, just like the last lady that called, some said to her, well, people don't know how to respond. And I don't hold anything against anyone, you know?
Yes.
even then, some parents, because he was in secondary school, but his brothers were all in primary school, Some parents, they were, were like moms who used to do the school runs together. Upon sighting me, they would cross the road to the other side, because what do you say to this woman,
Yeah.
And the worst for me then was people saying to me, oh, you're even lucky you have 4 more. What if he's the only one you have? Believe me, I didn't hear it for one person, 2 people, many people had that to say. I mean to say that even if you have 10, even if you have 20, isn't it in the Bible that a shepherd had 10 sheep and one fell inside the dish and he had to leave the others to go in there to fetch it? Even if you have, no matter the amount of children you have, you lose one.
Exactly.
You keep and to me, even to today, I have this sense of guilt. Like, did I do anything wrong? Should I have done anything differently? Why did I allow them to operate on him? I should have listened to my husband and let's see if he can heal himself. But he was already in intensive unit. They couldn't even do anything about his condition. His face kept on swelling. No antibiotics to get it together. I didn't want to sign the paper to consent for the surgery because I was listening to my husband who says, "Oh, don't do," because they wanted to open his brain because he had a lot of fluid at the back of his brain, the meninges. And we thought, okay, it's an infection, it will all go away. And the surgeon called me, showed me everything, like this is not going to go away. Look at the amount of fluid at the back there. He's been here 4 days. You don't want to lose this child. He's the best chance you can give him is let's help him. He showed me so many examples of other people who've had similar thing and recovered, So I had to consent to the surgery. My son pushed through. They discharged us they moved us from the intensive unit to the normal ward. And the next day, his face was kind of dropped and his eyes were kind of like staring ahead. He wouldn't kind of respond to anything. And my guilt was that was the only night I left him, like for 13 days. He had the surgery on Christmas Day. And it was about 2:00 in the afternoon when they took him into the surgery, And then he came out about 1 a.m. And when I walked in, I actually walked past him. I didn't know he was, because I was with him when they rode him to the theater. And then when I came back about 9 p.m., he wasn't out. I came back again about 1. He was out. But I didn't know it was my son. This thing, big hair, bandage everywhere. I walked past and I went to the nurse at the end and said, well, I'm looking for Tete. He said to me, oh, that's him on the right-hand side. And I'm like, what? I walked back and I was there. I couldn't believe. He had all these machines breathing for him. He was there from the 25th. Because we already spent some days before the surgery. So on the 1st of January, he's already started pulling through. They removed the things breathing for him and everything, and then he started breathing for himself. He would respond. So I asked him today, if you're feeling anything, can you squeeze my hand? He wouldn't squeeze. I said, are you okay? He would squeeze. That's how we were communicating. So later on, when he began to nod and that, they moved us to the normal ward. So that night, I said, you know what, he's okay now. I need to go and lie down and, get a proper sleep, because I always, sit up on the chair till morning every day. 24 hours a day, every day. So that on first night I went to lie down to sleep, I came in the morning, I saw a different thing. And then, of course, as that was it, he passed on. My God, when I got home, I didn't even know where to put my head. I tried to lie down. I see his face. I moved my head to the other side. I turned again. I got up, went to his room, picked up his shoes, picked up his pajamas that he removed before we went to the hospital. Just walking around the house. I didn't know what to do. I didn't even think how could I go through another 5 minutes, let alone a whole life. His brothers, I didn't know how to tell them, but my nephew got them together and said to them, your brother is gone. That is going to stay with the Lord. And I heard the baby cry. He picked it up. He was 6. I heard he screaming. The rest were still kind of confused. I said, I don't know, but it was him that screamed. He picked it up. I don't know. But that was it. That boy died and took part of me with him. I've tried everything to move on. I get myself busy. Even up until today, I'm still keeping myself busy. But the moment I put my head down, something just changes. Even I see his school friends, his classmates, his school, everything. Some music that he liked, he played piano, his favorite sound, everything. Everything reminds me of this boy. And then I had this picture in my front room. One time, last year, the boys are now kind of grown teenagers. They wanted to paint the front room and they said that they needed to move the photo and put it somewhere else so they can position it. I got so upset. I just broke down. Why you want to change it? Why do you want to move it? I couldn't even bear. I couldn't bear for anyone to touch his picture. Because when I walk into the room, I look at him and I kind of just, that picture helps me. Even up until 2 nights ago, I couldn't sleep, so I went downstairs. I just sat there, just found myself just chatting with him about something I'm doing. Because I'm doing something personal that I really love and enjoy. I was talking to him about it, that he would have really liked it. These things, believe it or not, helps me.
Oh, yes.
Some people think, it's wrong to be talking to the dead. Everyone to himself, to his own. But one thing I can tell you for sure is everyone grieves differently. We all grieve differently. The way I grieve is different from the way of someone else with his. And then with all that, something else that is important that I tell everyone is it affects bereavement affects people differently. Of all my children, the 4 of them, the one that is the oldest now, he started stuttering, he started stammering, The other one became very quiet. He just went inward. He wouldn't play, he wouldn't come out. He only talks to his brothers and myself, and that he doesn't keep friends. My third one began to have weight issues, If you see an 18-year-old boy, you won't believe he's the size of my God. Like his weight, we don't use the normal scale. One time we were going on a diet with St. Thomas's, guys, and they wanted his weight. No scale. We had to go to Shippers. That's how embarrassing it was for myself and him. That's what we got his weight. And then the baby, where he's 16, 17 now, he is dealing with anger issues. He gets angry and he loses control. I know I'm everywhere, but whatever I can remember, I say it because it may help someone out there. So
you're not everywhere.
This happened
you're
in
right.
2012. 10 years. 10 years, and we're still dealing with bereavement. We tried counseling. That was the worst thing for me because everyone thought, counseling will help. It didn't help me. It helped some people, but not me, because They make me sit there and ask me these questions and talk about him for an hour and a half. And then when I get home, I'm beside myself. I just can't get myself together after speaking to these people. So I began to feel better when I stopped the counseling, you know. It didn't help any of. We had the family counseling. The boys decided they didn't want to go because they didn't see any benefit to them. Myself, I said, I'm going to give you a few more weeks. It didn't help me, so I stopped. What I find, I'm sorry, unfortunately, religion didn't help me either because of some reasons. I didn't, my reason then, even now, still is, when you say that God loves us all as his children, I know that I have children and I would never sit back and watch my child go through what I go through on a daily without even falling on top of that child to take some of the pain from the child. And if you say that God loves me, that I'm his child and he loves me the same way, why would he allow me to go through the pain and anguish and trauma that I've been going through for 10 years? So, I mean to say that I don't want to say anything wrong and offend God, but I'm still battling with that. Is something that I think about most times, that why would I be suffering like this, you know? I don't want to forget about my child, no, but I want to heal. I want to feel better. I want to think about him. And I want to talk about him with joy and happiness. I don't want to, the moment I want to talk about this boy, I start crying. When am I going to heal? 10 years. It was 10 years on the 2nd of January this year. So almost 10 and a half years. My sister, believe me, sometimes it's like yesterday.
It's like
it's
yesterday.
unbelievable.
Oh, yes. It's like yesterday.
Some days I open my eyes, I won't know how to go through the next 5 minutes.
It's painful,
So
my darling.
That's really basically all I can say now, you know.
Thank you
I'm
so
happy
much
for any advice. I know that Tangozi, I did say to you that I need a bit of help in that department.
Yes.
But
yes, sweetheart.
Still, I'm open for advice, help.
Yeah. That's okay, Uju. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. I want you to hang around, stay around. Thank you so much. You see, the reason for, like I said earlier on, that we're gonna be dealing with bereavement throughout May. It's not as if that after May that we won't talk about it, no. But next Thursday, we're gonna talk about it. I don't know how many Thursdays we have left before May finishes. We will continue to talk about bereavement. And let me tell you one thing, Uju. You think, that you just made a statement. This thing that you said right now has made an impact in your life. It has gone kind of, some way ahead in kind of reducing your pain. You might not notice it now, but it is. Because, the power of togetherness, as we are together, people are listening to you and people are sharing in your grief. And as they are sharing in your grief is reducing. But we're still going to do something one-on-one. Uju, there are lots of things that we have to do, especially when it comes to this. Because when I lost my son, I looked around for even kind of charity that helps in certain ways or certain places. There are no charity even in this UK to deal or to help in certain ways. I will discuss it with you, later on. So, I want to really thank you for contributing, and I want to say that what you went through is very, very unique. Honestly, it is very, very unique. And what you are still feeling after 10 years is not out of the ordinary. It's not. It's not out of the ordinary. your child is part of you, is part of your body. So it cuts you where it hurts so much and it has refused to heal. But I know that it won't take time. You will at least get to where you're supposed to stand by your feet. You're not forgetting your child, but your child will want you to feel better. So thank you so much for your contribution. Before I call on the next caller, I just want to say something, because this is a mistake that many people make. Many people who are bereaved, many people who lost somebody, one mistake that they make is guilt. You just mentioned it right now, Uju. Guilt is something that, have put people on the wheelchair, have put people on the mental ward, when they will be saying, oh, I would have done this. Oh, I would have done that. Oh, I would have done this, I would have done that, and so on. So people just keep feeling guilty. People just keep feeling guilty. Oh, I would have called my son. Oh, he asked me to do this, I didn't do it. Why didn't I do it? I'm supposed to call him this, I did. Why didn't I call him? And so on. And you will keep feeling this guilt until you lose your mind. So I want to tell everybody that is listening to me right now, the first thing that you feel is guilt whenever you lose someone. The guilt of not doing this thing for him or her, the guilt of not being there for him or her, the guilt of this and the guilt of that. I want you to stop it, because it kills you before time. It kills you before time. Ndidi, my dear, you are calling on video call. So, and I don't know if it's a mistake. Don't call on video call, but I will call you back. Let me call this number that called before you. Then I will give you a call back. Okay? Let me call this number that called before. Then I will call you back. So, but I want you to type and let me know whether you're calling normal call, because you're coming as video call. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Yes, please.
My name is Patricia, and I'm calling from Lagos.
Welcome to the program. Please, your contribution.
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm a bit late, but it's better late than never.
That's okay.
I'm really enjoying the topic for today on bereavement.
Yes. There's
no way you can overstretch bereavement and the effect on the bereaved. The last thing you were saying about guilt was the starting point I wanted to go with, but you've already taken it out of my mouth.
Oh my word.
Because most often what we do is start asking ourselves, what could I have done better? Maybe if I had done this, it wouldn't have happened. Maybe if I hadn't done this, it would not have happened.
Yes.
No matter how much you guilt treat yourself, what has happened has happened. So that guilt aspect, it is very important that we put it to the background. It's not easy to do. It is not easy to do at all, but we need to put it to the background.
Okay.
A loss of a dear one, I don't know what you can compare it with, because there's nothing to compare it with. It is very deep. It cuts so deep. If I tell you that my brother that I lost about 40-something years ago, that I still remember him, in the sense that when I see people who are his age mates, I feel like, oh, Mike would have been this much. He would have married. He would have had children. He would have this and that. And I feel it with some element of hurt inside me. Yet, that was 40 something years ago. He would have been 56 or so by now.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember him, and I still feel bad that he's not there. I cannot start saying one by one those I have lost and how I feel. I just wanted to put this one because it's so far away,
yes,
and it still makes that impact in me.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot say that you can forget a loved one.
Mm.
Let nobody tell you that a time heals all wounds, because they say it all the time. Time heals all wounds. It doesn't heal it. It might make it lighter, but it will not heal. It will still be there. So what we have is a bond with people we love. And that bond, no matter how much we try to pretend that we can do without it, we cannot.
Exactly.
So someone telling you, I know how you feel. We all know that nobody knows how any other person feels.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, I can't imagine how you feel, and that is the whole truth.
Exactly.
Because I cannot imagine it.
Yes.
Because you will not imagine how I feel in my own bereavement. Everybody feels differently when they have this kind of situation. And you know what? With time, you get some healing, but you don't get completely healed.
Exactly.
Sometimes the memory of this person will make you laugh out loud. Sometimes it will make you cry, even no matter how long ago it is. So all you have to do is make every moment count when it comes. When the time comes for you to feel bad about what you have gone through, feel it. You are a human being. But don't hold on to that feeling and make it take over your life.
Yes.
Cry when you need to cry. But be happy when you need to. Just like one of the speakers said, keep some memorabilia, some memory stuff about your loved ones, that if you look at, you can smile and say, this. Or even if it reminds you to cry, do that, shed a tear and clean up and move. But most of all, remember them in your prayers. Because the more you remember them in your prayers, the more your healing comes. Mm-hmm. There are so many things to talk about bereavement. But all I know is that God is the only one that knows how to heal the bereaved.
Yes.
Only God can do it effectively. And we just have to trust Him.
Yes.
So, Evergreen, I thank you so very much for this particular topic. I really am edified by it. And I believe from the speakers who have already shared their own experiences, I have learned a lot. And I believe that people also will learn from my 2 cents.
Yes.
As it were.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very
God
much.
Bless us all.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you. God bless you. That's a really good one. Very, very good one. You talk about guilt, which we cannot overemphasize it, because that's exactly, as I am right now. I don't know when I haven't even stopped blaming myself. I keep thinking that if not because of this, my son would have still been there. If not because of this and that and that. And I know that that's the first thing that happens to people. Anybody that loses a loved one, that's the first thing, guilt. So if you're looking at me right now, if you are watching me later on, if you Google to find out how to deal with bereavement and you come across this, please, that guilt that you're feeling, you would have done this, you would have done that, if you didn't do this, it wouldn't have happened, and so on. Cut that one off, because that's what is going to take somebody to early grave. Not only early grave, but you might get sick. You might end up in the wheelchair. You might end up in the psychiatric home because of that guilt. That's what kills us so quickly. You know, because during bereavement, if somebody who is bereaved can die instantly, it might be better for that person. But in most cases, death doesn't come like that. Sickness comes, mental breakdown comes, spinal injury comes. Some people, they end up on wheelchair. And when that person ends up like that, what do? You become another liability to the family. So that's why you need to cut off guilt. Guilt is 50%, you know, part of the thing that weighs us down, that guilt. If you're able to cut it off, you have done half of the job. So we're going to be rounding up because I don't want to take much of your time. But before we round up, I want to talk about, because you know we all come from different religious belief, but I can talk about Christian religion or Christian belief. Many people, you know, Christian believe that going to the grave to talk to somebody who is dead, some people call it I don't know, what do they call it? They call it how do I say it? You know this talking to spirit and so on. I don't know. I don't remember. If I remember it, I will tell you. But I just wanna, this is my personal opinion. My personal opinion. Whatever that makes you feel better, if you lose a loved one, if going to visit the grave makes you feel better, by all means, do that. If keeping the picture everywhere around you makes you feel better, by all means, do that. If hiding away the pictures that maybe when you see it, you start to, or whatever, by all means, do that. If talking to that person, maybe you face the picture or you just talk to, if that makes you better, please, by all means, do that. The reason why I'm telling you this is that a lot of people have had nervous breakdown because of certain beliefs. There are certain beliefs that is not practicable. And you know, some people that are saying that you should do this and do that, it might not have happened to them. And even if it has happened to them and they were able to cope with it, that doesn't mean that other people will be able to cope with it. So if going to the grave to talk to your loved ones, or to clean the grave, if that grave, you know, if it is a marked grave, if it is not a marked grave and you go in there probably to put flower or whatever, if it makes you feel better, by all means, do that. Because it is you. It is personal to you. The person that is telling you not to do that, it is not personal to that person. Probably if it happens to that person, he or she might even be worse than you. I remember one pastor giving me advice then, that why are you going to the grave? Going to the grave is like worship of the dead. There is no way if you go to the grave that you will not talk. And when you go to the grave and you talk, the Bible condemns it. So you shouldn't be doing that. I said, okay. The following day, I went to the grave. Do you know why? Because I am the one that wears the shoes and I know where it hurts me. The person who is telling me that was telling me that it's not wearing my shoe. I am the one wearing my shoe. So if it makes me better to go there, that's what I do. And today is the 4th year of the departure of my son. And what made me feel better, I went to the grave. I got some pebbles, stones, white stones, and so on, just to put it round to make the grave, to make it strong, because, it's a waterlogged area. And then if you don't take time, the thing will start sinking. So buying that stone with the help of somebody that helped me buy the stone, then went and put it round just to make it strong. It's like building a house. And it made me feel better. Though I know that whatever that is there is bones, skeletons, he's no longer there. But being that that was the last place that he was laid, so going there is like, that's where he stays. So doing that is like I'm decorating his house and so on. And that made me feel better. And made me to be able, because I didn't want to come online today. I wanted to be feeling sorry for myself. I wanted to just lie down and feel sorry for myself. But immediately I went there to do that. I was like, no, I have to come and talk about it. I have to let people come. Let's talk about it. And I have learned so many things from all of you that have spoken right now. I have learned so many things. But one thing I want to beg all of you, we are in it together. Uju, my sister, we are in it together. All other people, I hope this thing hasn't cut off. We are in it together. So please, we will be helping each other. We really need to make time to help each other. And one thing I want us to do, and I want you to do, is to invite somebody next week. Invite somebody who will benefit from what we are doing. So yes, I have to call it a day. Today we have really achieved a lot. So please remember, the same time next week, we're still going to talk about that bereavement. If you remember anything to add, remember that we are trying to leave a legacy. We are trying to leave something for people who will watch this later, somebody who will type to know whether people talk about bereavement, how to deal with it. They will come to this, they will come to this channel and they will hear what we are saying. So we really need to research other things that we really need to contribute next week, and then we take it from there. So I want to say sorry to everybody who have, lost somebody. You're not alone. We're all in it together. And then just keep on keeping on. Try to put your head above the water. Yeah? It can only be better. So before we finish, I want to play this for us. I hope Facebook is not going to be nasty to me. Facebook, I hope you guys not going to be nasty to me. So I just played this. And then we call it a day. We call it a day. Okay. Land are gathering unto the Lord. No, I need to do it here so that it will be loud.
In a faraway land, where the saints of God are gathering, hear the sweet melody. They are singing unto the Lord. They are giving him praises forevermore. Alani marama, ebeti anya, ebeti sobi, Hallelujah. Noro abuto anabukuru Jesus. Anele arepele, rebi. Yo koko, yo koko, yo koko, yo koko, yo koko, yo koko,
You see, there is a beautiful home in a faraway land. Yeah? Where the saints have gathered, they gather to give praises to God. No matter whatever it is, there is God and He is good. I will see you next week. I love you so very much. I want you to put your head up and know that you're a conqueror. You have won. All of you, you have won. Thank you so much. I love you. Mwah. Bye. Okay. Oh dear. Yes, I'm sure.